Alrighty, guys, welcome to another Chair League match. I am your host, Jay Zahn, and it'll be my pleasure to bring you this placement match between Party Bush at your mom's house, who I will, for the rest of the evening, just be calling them Party Bush, versus 1HP. Placement match here on Cursed Hollow. The draft is underway, and Party Bush going to take every single second of that temporary clock there to go ahead and decide on their Falstad ban to start this out. A good ban for this map. Falstad very valuable as a global hero on Cursed Hollow, which is such a big map. It's so important to have those globals available. But Sylvanas is going to be the ban out by 1 HP. That's an interesting ban. They're going to go ahead and let Zagara through, and there it is. Party Bush not going to take 1 second's hesitation to be able to pick that up. So right away, I would say a draft advantage over to Party Bush with Zagara on this map. With Nidus Network and that global ability she has to split push, she can be a really big terror on this map. But we'll have to see how 1 HP follows this up. I can only imagine that if they allowed Party Bush to have Zagara, they had a plan to deal with it. They got to have a really strong solo laner that can deal with it, and ideally you want to have globals of your own, and there it is. They're going to pick up Brightwing. Brightwing, probably the best healer for this map, and I would say actually one of the best healers in the game currently. I've certainly spent my fair share playing Brightwing lately, and I really think that the Fairy Dragon of Death is definitely a strong pickup no matter what map you're on, but particularly here, I think it's a really, really great pickup. But second pick coming up here, they are going to go ahead and go with Valla. Not a bad pick. You kind of want to make sure you have somebody that's good at turn-in denial here, or I should say channeling denial, for trying to get those tributes. So I would say that Valla is a pretty good pickup here, and just in general, she's good for sustained comps, which seems to be what they're building so far with Brightwing, the ultimate sustained healer, and Valla, one of the ultimate sustained damage. And so we'll have to see. 2 picks here for Party Bush. They've got a good opportunity to be able to really pick up on the momentum that they got with that first initial Zagara pick, which, again, I think is a real big steal, and it's going to be Kerrigan. So you want to talk countering the idea of a sustained team. Kerrigan is the hero for you. She's able to jump in there, get a ton of CC out, and go ahead and destroy somebody if it's followed up properly. Nobody does it faster than Kerrigan. So, pretty good pickup there by Party Bush. They're going to be looking to have Kerrigan coming out of every single of the many bushes that there are on Cursed Hollow, and a dive buddy to go right along with her, with Muradin, the ultimate CC diving tank that can also always jump out. So, Muradin, a very good pickup. The only one that really compares with Muradin in the CC department is probably ETC, who's probably a little bit superior, but also not quite as good on this map in terms of being able to do the actual denial of the map mechanic of those tributes, because ETC doesn't have, I don't feel like he has quite the survivability that Muradin has. He doesn't quite have the ability to disengage at a second's notice. Morales will be the ban here for 1 HP. Morales also a very good sustained healer, so definitely 1 HP looking to win the sustained fight at this point, which I think is a pretty valid concept. We'll have to see how that pays off for him here. Morales, probably not the healer that I would go with a Kerrigan. Rhaegar is probably a higher priority. Uther also pretty good for Kerrigan. But we do see the tank chokehold being applied here by Party Bush. They're going to go ahead and ban out ETC. I think is a really good call. ETC, one of the better tanks in pretty much any situation, but also a pretty decent counter to a frontline heavy comp, which seems like what they're starting to build here with Muradin and Kerrigan. No telling what else Party Bush is going to come up with here. They could also go with a couple more ranged characters, but right away, having Kerrigan and Muradin in your front line, ETC is something you don't really want to have on the other side. So Li Ming's going to come out here for 1 HP. They've already got a really good damage dealer in Vala, so they're going to go ahead and pick up another ranged hero. Like I just said, Party Bush doesn't have their ranged damage yet, and I wouldn't really count Zagara in that category. I guess she is a ranged sustained damage dealer, but she's mainly meant for the sieging potential, so ideally you'd still want to have at least the burst damage dealer, so it's a good strategy here by 1 HP to go ahead and pick up Li Ming. And they're going to go ahead and go with Thrall, so another good sustained hero. Vala can get a lot of self-sustain, Thrall can get a lot of self-sustain. That lends itself to Brightwing's style of healing, where a hero can keep themselves in the game long enough for the slow but steady heals of Brightwing to be able to really be felt. Li Ming can also poke from a safe distance, so doesn't have to play as greedy, can actually stay near Brightwing, stay in the back where she's not in as much danger, even from the leaping Kerrigan most of the time. But two last picks here for Party Bush. They got a couple of options in terms of their healer, which they still need. They could go Uther, they could go Rhaegar. I think both of those are pretty solid picks. A couple of less obvious ones. They could maybe go with a Kharazim here, Malfurion on the table, Lily. But I think that those are all kind of second-tier choices compared to those first two. I would also put Morales down in that category, but they are going to go with Uther. A Divine Shield, a very good tool for Kerrigan, be able to keep her alive and available to be able to go on the enemy team's backline safely without taking any damage. So the question is, what is their burst damage? What are they going to do in terms of trying to get that burst out? Greymane still on the table, can be pretty bursty. They could still go with a heavy front line to try and push, so they could go with a frontline hero, but not sure that's the right... Oh, it is going to be Greymane. Okay, so I like that pickup. I think that that's good steady damage, and another hero that really benefits from Divine Shield. Greymane, kind of your hybrid hero. He's ranged, so he's also good at denying on the altar on the tribute phases, and is able to jump in and be aggressive to follow up Kerrigan combos. So nice pickup there. And is countered a little bit by Brightwing, but I wouldn't worry about that too much at this phase. I really do like the comp that they've built here for Cursed Hollow. Again, Zagara right off the bat is a really strong way to start the draft. And so the only question is what tank for 1 HP. A couple good ones still on the... I would say Johanna is probably the best pick here. Incredible denial on the tribute phases, but they are going to go with Tyrael. Tyrael's also got pretty good denial, able to poke that out from a distance and keep that in play. You can also engage or disengage pretty quickly, and gives a little bit of shield and even more self-sustain, again lending itself to that Brightwings comp. But I'm a little bit worried here. There's a lot of CC coming out from the side of Party Bush. If they can focus one at a time, they are going to have a field day with going through 1 HP. Nobody particularly super tanky on that side. Tyrael is really more in the bruiser category than he is in the full-on tank category. You can build him up to be a little bit more sustainy, but Tyrael is not as tanky as a Johanna or a Muradin or an ETC. He's just not built that way. He's built with the idea of being able to tank in situations where you got a good solid healing core, in my opinion, but he's not as built to be able to withstand long fights against high damage heroes like Kerrigan and like Greymane. So we'll have to see if that pays off. Of course, if you lose Tyrael, it's not the worst thing in the world. He does have the trait to be able to help finish somebody off at some point, but we'll see. I do think that they do have some ability to be able to win on these shrines in the long sustained fight. It's a matter of whether or not they can prevent the Kerrigan combo with the Uther stun and the Muradin stun and Greymane jumping in. If they can prevent somebody from dying on their team really quickly, long enough to poke it out, long enough to get the sustained damage that they have on their team with possibly the Li Ming resets to kill somebody, they do have a chance. It's not I would say this one's definitely not lost in the draft. I think both of these teams have drafted decently for the map. But I do like Party Bush's draft just a little bit more here. I would say that Brightwing probably is going to give them a slight healing advantage. Uther is a good healer for their comp, but in general is just, with those long cooldowns, is not able to keep up. So if Li Ming is able to turn and get one of those kills, Uther's not going to be able to keep up with the damage that's the sustained damage from Thrall and Vala, and then the burst damage from Li Ming on top of it. So it looks like we got one DC that we're waiting on right now. So should be into the game relatively soon. But it's going to be a fun map. You know, we really like Cursed Hollow. It's definitely one of the fan favorites overall in Heroes of the Storm. We see Cursed Hollow a lot in the pro division. We see it a lot in amateur divisions as well. It's a big map with a lot of stuff to do, and a map mechanic that does promote team fighting, like pretty much all of the map objectives do, but also promotes the idea of split pushing and stalling it out. We see a lot of Abathur comps on this map for that reason, because you can stall it out and have the Abathur split push. Looks like we have lost a player entirely. That's a bummer. So it looks like we're gonna have to wait on this one for just a little bit longer. I look like I need a beer or two. That's Coors Light. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Fox Wolves my butt. That is a Coors and Fox clothing if I've ever seen one. But yeah, it's gonna be like I said, definitely gonna be an interesting match here. You never know what you're gonna get out of placement matches. You know, it's when you're looking in Division, 1, 2, 3, kind of get an idea of what you're gonna see in those situations. But in placement, these are teams that could end up anywhere. Could end up with, a future pro division team that's destined to be really good versus, a Division 3 team. You just never know. Are those gunners or just regular glasses? They're just regular glasses, I can't see without them. Everything's a blur. Okay, looks like we are ready to go. At long last, the stalling is over. So we're going to go ahead and get us on into the match here. Oh, that is not where I wanted to go. There we are. All right. We got it done, team. We got it done. So introducing first, on the left, Party Bush at your mom's house. Scathar playing Greymane. Shamhat playing Uther. Earlshep playing Zagara. Choo Choo Lane, or I should say Kuchu Lane on Kerrigan, and Twinkle Talon on Muradin. On the right, we have 1 HP, Lydia on Li Ming, Ashley Wow on Vala, Pendy on Brightwing, Foxbia on Tyrael, and Variable is going to be playing Thrall. Yes, I have been trolled, but not quite rickrolled. Let me go ahead and get the sound rolling here. Speaking of rolls, there we go. That's the very familiar sound of Cursed Hollow that we all know and love. The most dramatic music, I think, of all Heroes of the Storm, to be honest with you guys. Looks like right now we're going to see a little bit of a split up here. I think 1 HP realizes that with this Kerrigan combo and this incredible amount of CC, they do not want a duel here in the mid. They're only going to send 3 to, I think, sort of feign and maybe just scout out who's here. But right away, Kuchu Lane not being shy about getting right up in the business over here. Just waiting in that bush. I think we're gonna see a lot of Kerrigan in the bush action. And that I'll tell you what, that Kerrigan skin, it's not subtle. It's really not. So Variable waiting down here in the bush until right the moment they come out there. Pendy getting some free soak up in the top. So we'll see a minion or two being lost for the side of Party Bush. But nothing crazy. They do clear that mid. Looks like they're actually going to go ahead and elect to make these rotations. Cursed Hollow, not usually the kind of map that you want to try to make full rotations on unless you're going for Fix, which they are, man. And there it is. First blood already going over to Party Bush. That poor little Brightwing. I think maybe a Kerrigan might have come out of the bush up there. Just saying. We'll see a return rotation possibly here. Lydia certainly is going to go up to the top to soak a little bit of that. Going to be going up against Zagara, a.k.a. the ultimate lane bully. Already getting some value onto that wall just a little bit. We will see Pendy coming back up here after that rough go up in the top lane. Bottom lane, nothing too crazy. Thrall versus Greymane, they're just going to poke back and forth at each other while they clear these. Probably nobody going to die from that situation. Oh, but Li Ming going down to the aggressive rotation. That's my bad. I totally whiffed that one. Party Bush continuing these big rotations as you would expect from such a CC heavy comp with Kerrigan, and Pendy realizing it, not going very far away from that wall. Every little step Brightwing takes, though, you can tell they are more and more ready, and here it is again. The combo will hit, and ouch, man. Ouch. That's all I can say about it. That looked like it hurt. I actually would like to see them push this a little bit. They've got the ammo completely gone. They have 3 members up there. They could have probably pushed through that wall, but we'll elect to continue these aggressive rotations to try and catch people out, and that's about the most obvious rotation in the world. I'm hoping that Variable is watching the map, because, oh, but here they come. They're going to go ahead and come back in this situation. Uh-oh, Ashley Arrow going to get completely deleted. Valla, a lot of people playing Valla lately. Is it just me, or does she seem more squishy than she was before? She is getting completely annihilated in a lot of these situations. I don't know. We played a Valla this week, and only 2 kills for our man Taco, but this would get completely annihilated in some of the rotational, rotation situations. But Scathar getting the clear done, and he's going to go ahead and go back to the bottom, as that first tribute will be picked up by Party Bush, as they have about a half-level lead at this point. He will get down here enough to soak most of that wave, get a little bit more XP, but despite the 4 kills so far, we're actually seeing 1 HP keeping up decently in the soak battle, and again, they are going hard after Ashley Arrow, and it's going to be close, but we'll be able to waddle away with a very small amount of health, and this one's spawning again in that top area, guaranteeing that the next one will spawn in the bottom, but for now, it does look like it's going to be a pretty darn easy go for Party Bush getting the second tribute. No real response, no real contesting from the members of 1 HP so far. They just feel like they can't compete right now with Party Bush. With the Valla being so low, did have to be, and yet again we see the aggressive rotation. Not going to be caught out this time are the members of 1 HP, but the full rotation looks like it's going straight for the bottom, and Variable just sitting in the bush waiting for somebody to show up here, and not going to be too overly aggressive. Looks like they're going to go over and maybe grab that watchtower, maybe not. A little bit of dueling going on in the mid, but ooh, Thrall goes down in the bottom lane. I left it just in time for Thrall to get exploded. You can't, I really just ought to follow around Kuchu lane. I mean, I think at this point, this is going to be pretty much a free curse here. We are going to see a couple members rotate here, but again, Kuchu lane just all over Li Ming. That is some just raw brutality there. That hurts.
Unacceptable. You shall know my curse.
So note to self, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever going up against somebody named Kuchu Lane, you might want to consider the idea of banning a Kerrigan. Just a possible suggestion. Just maybe. I mean, already placement matches, and Cuchulainn making a name for himself on that carry. Gotta love that. That hurts. So Thrall gonna go down in that bottom lane, getting beaten up by Greymane. But in this mid lane, the battle range is on. With level 10s have been picked up, and Twinkle Talon going super deep here, not being afraid to brawl it up here. They feel like they have everything on their side, and they are going deep in for these kills. Brightwing will be the first to fall. That is easily going to turn into a fort. Skarath going to go ahead and come on in here and get on into the party. Doesn't want to miss out on any of this fun. 3-level lead being acquired here, and they are going to get all 3 of the forts in this situation as the curse will come down. But wow, they are really starting to snowball here. Got a huge wad of minions coming into this wall. We'll have to see if anybody rotates down to grab all of this delicious XP. It looks like 1 HP not quite aware of it. It's going to soak up a lot of tower shots. That could actually be a huge factor here as the bottom boss is being picked up here by Party Bush. Working on the bruisers over here on the right side of the screen is 1 HP. They're going to pick that up. But you can see a lot of ammo out from these walls, and there's going to be even more as this continues to push in. Boss is going to be easily picked up. We've actually got a full-on Zagara in this match. It looks like we might have had a DC at this point, but I don't think Party Bush cares at this point. I think they're just they're going to go with it. They're going to say, hey, you know what? 2-level lead, Zagara bot. I think we can make this work. We're gonna rotate up and get this top boss. Not really gonna be much contesting there. Meanwhile, a predictable rotation here from 1 HP. Gonna have to go ahead and get this boss down. Not gonna get too much value because of this full rotation. Actually, picking up the Siege Giant's a really good strategy for getting some extra damage out to be able to take that down. But the boss will be captured in the top lane as well by Party Bush. They're looking at almost having level 13 here. Greymane going to go ahead and think about rotating to the mid, but I think they're actually just going to let that one ride. They can push with this. They're going to pick up the 13 talents very soon into this process. I think just from clearing the wave, they're going to be really close. Certainly this next wave is going to get it for them full out, full on, and they're going to actually be threatening a keep just 8 minutes into the game here on Cursed Hollow. We usually see pretty long matches, but right now they are just in a dominating fashion, and we do see Variable getting completely jumped on here. Greymane actually going to go all the way in, but Variable will survive. The Sanctification coming down. Level 10s are out here, something to fight back with. The Maw will catch 2. The Sunder return to deal a ton of damage. Volley coming out is Ashley Arrow doing everything she can. They're actually going to de-shield the Zagara to get her out of there and prevent the resets from Lydia. And the stun is gonna pop the Disintegrate. They will be able to walk away here. I'm telling you, that was a battle of being down too many levels here for 1 HP. They could have really turned that. It was a nice defense. They didn't lose anybody. They almost lost Variable there, but we're able to heal it up. We're able to at least deter Party Bush for now, and this match will go on. The keep, however, will not go on. That's this first keep of the game going over to Party Bush, as they do continue their pretty dominating effort. A little bit of siege damage in the bottom and mid lane, so that's something to be happy about if you're 1 HP, but still that 3-level disparity at this point. It's going to be rough to come back from. We'll have to see what they can pull together here. Lydia getting some damage out here, but the rotation is on here. They got to be very careful. They're bringing that Zagara bot, who's actually going to get totally involved in that. Just following Shamhat around here at this point. And that's one deadly Ming, I'll tell you. 9-0 here for Party Bush, showing us the muscles on this map. The rotations are getting a little bit silly. At this point, they're not even trying to get the. By the way, that was a bot 2-man Maw. One thing to point out there, that was a nice Maw by that Zagara AI. MVP maybe? Nah, probably not. I think we should have. By the way, if anyone from Blizzard out there is listening, I really think we should have MVPs for these. I mean, just because it's a custom game doesn't mean we can't have MVP, right? Wouldn't it be funny to have a bot be the MVP? So, level 13 not picked up here. Probably not the best idea in the world to try and contest, so they're actually just going to stand back and grab the siege camp. The question is, does Party Bush want to invade? They still have the opportunity. It does look like they're going to elect to. We'll see Skarath jumping in there. The Sanctification comes down along with all of the ults coming out here. Ashley Arrow doing a little bit of damage, but ultimately that level disparity is just too big, you know, it's just too big a deal here. It's going to be a 4 for nothing. A ton of damage coming out on Skarath, but it's not going to be enough. Li Ming can't do that by herself, does not have Mirror Ball yet, does not even have Glass Cannon at this point. Just can't quite pump out enough damage. 3 levels down and that talent tier. Now they're going to be 2 talent tiers for a brief moment here until they're able to at least hit 13. And for the same reason that you don't want to go contest that tribute, you also probably don't want to push too hard at that camp. It's certainly a lot easier to clear it than it is to try and kill them. The keep will go down, and we will see the error message there. But Skarath actually taking a bunch of damage here. Will receive the Divine Shield and will completely annihilate Vala. Brightwing's going to be the next to fall here. We're also going to see Tyrael falling down. Skarath is going to get the heal that should be able to keep him. Actually juked the passive, and that's going to be a full team ace. And that is going to be GG, ladies and gentlemen. Party Bush at your mom's house. They will be partying all night long after this win. And very, very impressive display. Not only their team comp, but also being able to figure out how best to utilize it. Great rotations. Just a great job in general. They dominated this match.
Blue team is victorious.
Let's see those game results. Come on. We can do it. We can do it, team. Ton of damage coming out there from Greymane. A relatively short match. 18-0. A complete shutout for Party Bush here. And let's take a look at the talents real quick. Not sure how much of this was Zagara and how much of it was the bot Zagara. It looks like Earl Schlepp might have DC'd there at some point, but didn't deter them any. Twinkle Talon going with Block and Thunderburn to get that extra slow. Ironforged Momentum, which is pretty cool. Looked like he was going mostly for damage. They get the healing there. But we didn't get to see, it was a pretty short match, so we didn't get to see the full breadth of a lot of these talent pickups. But, you know, pretty standard. Going for a more defensive approach to be able to stay in and be that frontline bruiser for Kerrigan, which makes a lot of sense. Conjurer's Pursuit. Actually going with Beacon of Light, which is pretty cool. Getting the heal on yourself. Cleanse. Pretty good with Brightwing and Thrall, of course. Divine Shield, got a lot of value that game. Shrink Ray and Benediction. So going with a little bit of that Piano Uther style, but I do really like the Beacon of Light. I've seen a lot more people taking that lately to get the extra healing out to self-sustain Uther. Viciousness. So basically just going with Worgen talents here for Greymane, and able to get a lot of damage out. He did a ton of hero damage and siege damage, for that matter. Top siege damage, top hero damage in the whole match with Skarath. A lot of setup from Kerrigan and Muradin, but definitely the execution for Greymane. Right down to Executioner. Li Ming going a full missile build, looking to try and reduce some of that damage with Force Armor. Did eventually pick up Glass Cannon, but I think it was just too little too late at that point. Rain of Vengeance. We've seen actually a lot of Strafe coming out lately, but I think both are very viable. We'll have to see a little bit more of Rain of Vengeance with the new charge to really see exactly how good it is. Full Phase Shift build coming out from Brightwing, which very, very valuable on this map. You want to be able to be mobile, split push, and get that going. Even in death, trying to get a little bit of extra value out of those deaths. Sanctification, which I think is pretty good for this map in general. Certainly most people are not a big fan of Judgment right now, so I think Sanctification. We didn't see a whole lot of usage out of it, though. I think the match was a little bit too short. They did have a nice Sanct in the top, though, when they were defending on that what would eventually turn into that first keep of the game. But did help with the turnaround. Rolling Thunder, right? Pretty common for all talents at the beginning, follow through. So that is going to be it for me tonight, guys. Our late match got pushed way late to the nether regions where there was no way I could cast it. So thank you guys very much for tuning in with me, and I will see you guys on the next Chair League next week.